Hi guys, it's the Aussie ASPIE here again. Today's video is going to be all about parenting and autism, and especially Asperger's. I've had a lot of people ask me the questions when I've been around at work of, how come I seem so neurotypical? How come I'm not Asperger's? And I always answer with, well, I am Asperger's. I might come across as neurotypical, but I come across as an NT for the same reason as a lot of girls come across as NTs when they're indeed actually Asperger's or autistic, because of learnt behaviour and being taught that you just can't act that way. My mum spent a lot of time teaching me to make sure I try and maintain eye contact with people and to do my absolute best in not standing out as someone just different from everyone else. That I need to do my best to come across as a neurotypical person, because in the grand scheme of things, the world really does not care if I have Asperger's or autism or anything like that. If loud, weird noises hurt my ears and I freak out in the middle of a shopping mall, people are going to look at me as if I'm weird. They're going to just sort of go, we need to avoid that weirdo. He's a bit different. He's a bit weird. We need to avoid him at all costs. And it's the same even with kids. If a kid starts having sensory overload in a shopping centre and he can't control it or she can't control it and they have a tantrum, it's not them misbehaving. It's they can't do anything anymore. Their whole system is overloaded and they just cannot control it. Now, you can't really control sensory overload. You can help alleviate it from being an issue, but sensory overload's going to happen no matter what. I know I still get it, but you need to work out ways to give your child an outlet. Like for me, my outlet became Star Wars, video games and Lego. But I wasn't allowed to just immerse myself in it and never come out. I was only allowed it for so many hours a day, and that was it. As soon as I reached my time limit, go play outside, go do something, go play fetch with the dog, go jump on the trampoline, go read a book or lie down on your bed. I didn't have the chance to just turn myself into a total introvert and recluse and just move away from society. My mum did not let me have that opportunity, and I thank her very much for that, because I look at a lot of other people out there who have been let to with the lines like, oh, but that's indicative to their disorder. That's indicative to lazy parenting and parents that don't want to parent. That's indicative to parents who really don't have the child's best interest at heart. They're just looking out for what's going to be the easiest option. I don't want to deal with my child trashing their room or throwing a fit somewhere, so just let him do what he wants. The world does not care about your child's disability, or should I say, different ability. The world does not care that your child is autistic or Asperger's. They just don't. The world cares that you fit inside this nice, neat little square. And if you don't fit inside that square, too bad. The world does not care and it doesn't want to help you. I know here in Australia, we have huge problems with trying to get good funding for autism and Asperger's support groups in schools and in workplaces, because it's still so misunderstood and so many people don't actually understand what Asperger's is. I still have plenty of people go to me, oh, you're Asperger's. How come you don't work with computers? And I go, because I don't understand computers. I understand horses. So I work with horses. They're my passion. And as a parent, you need to find what your child's true passion is. Don't just go, oh, they're Asperger's, I'm gonna stick them in the computer classes, because that doesn't work. Their passion could be mechanical engineering, Or their passion could be art, their passion could be agriculture, their passion could be trees. So you've got to find what their real passion is and push them down that path. You know, I remember a kid I used to know when I was younger who had such an obsession with backhoes. And I mean, his obsession was to an Asperger's level. He was a neurotypical person, but he had the Asperger's level obsession with backhoes and tractors. And, you know, I look back at it now and I go, if he was on the spectrum, I'd be going, okay, well, when you're old enough, if you still really like your backhoes, we're going to take you to go get your backhoe license. Because that would be his dream job, to do that. And, you know, with parents out there, if your child really has a passion about something, you've got to let them follow. If your child is 6 years old and they're showing that they've got a huge passion for animals, encourage it. If your child is 15 years old and they've got a huge passion for politics and current events, get them to follow it. Don't go, oh, you're too young for politics. No, get them to follow it, get them to understand it, and who knows, they might end up being one of our greatest politicians or greatest lawmakers ever. But you've got to encourage your child to follow their passion. And with passions as well, you've got to make sure that the children that are following their passion, you've got to keep them grounded at the same time. If your child's passion is sky high, but they can't quite reach the tops of the trees yet, get them to aim a little bit lower and use that as a stepping stone to get higher. Because that's how you're going to get them to go up higher. But with children and discipline, you need strict discipline. You can't just go, oh well, you don't like the feeling of the fork going into your mouth, you can use your hands. That's not acceptable. Even Dr. Temple Grandin will mention that as a child she hated using forks. She wanted to be able to eat mashed potatoes with her hands, but her mum wouldn't let her. And you know, if her mum gave in and let her give in to all of her little quirks and jerks and just go, oh well, she's different, we've got to understand that, we wouldn't have one of the greatest minds when it comes to cattle in the world with us, because she would have been stifled and her mind would have been wasted. You know, with children and parents, it's very hard. It's a very hard dynamic, because a neurotypical parent can never understand what their child goes through. You just can't. I know my mum still struggles to understand what I'm going through some days and how certain noises annoy me. But she does her best, and that's what you need to do, is you need to do your best. But you just can't rest on your laurels. You gotta keep moving forward. You've got to keep pushing your special little ones' talents forward. You've got to keep encouraging them to do better than what they are at the moment. Because an Asperger's and autistic mind gets easily bored. And if they're not being pushed in something, they're going to find it boring. I found school boring as soon as they started putting me back on simple math and simple English. My scores in those classes tanked. I could have done 10th grade math when I was in the 8th grade, but the teachers wouldn't let me because, well, you're not showing you're good enough. I'm going, but you're not giving me a chance. If you let me do the tough stuff, I can do it. This easy stuff doesn't challenge me, so it bores me and I can't be bothered. And that's one thing you've got to remember, is an Asperger's and autistic mind is easily bored, and they've always got to be engaged. Anyway, I know I did get a bit off topic in this video, but I'll be uploading another one in the next day or two solely on parenting, with nothing else. It's going to be all to do with parents, how to engage your child, how to speak to them, how to try and start getting them to understand the world and why things are the way they are. Anyway, please like, share and subscribe, because it It's really appreciated, and it does help the channel grow. Alright, see you around.